This dish probably causes more controversy than any other. So today we're cooking spaghetti carbonara. So I've chosen a really good quality spaghetti with a nice rough exterior. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about which ingredients to choose a bit later in the video, but we'll season our pasta water with salt and then in goes 100 grams of the spaghetti. I think this is a nice quantity for one person. Now I've got a couple of free range eggs here from a local farm and they've got a really nice rich yolk. And I'm going to crack one egg into the bowl and remove about half of the egg white and then add in another egg yolk. Now for my taste, this produces a really nice rich sauce that's not too tight, but you could use a whole egg on its own or use 2 egg yolks. You can play around with the egg and see what works for you. I cooked this dish yesterday using 1 whole egg and it produced a more saucy result. Next up, I've got some finely grated Pecorino Romano going in, followed by some finely grated Parmesan. Now, within reason, the amount of cheese is going to be down to personal preference. The Parmesan has got a really nice, robust flavour, while the Pecorino is a bit more funky, but together, they're a great balance. Now, if you can only get your hands on one or the other, don't stress, you can still make this. It is not a problem. Now we just need to add a generous quantity of freshly cracked black pepper, mix it well and set it to one side. Now I've got some guanciale here. This is cured pig's cheek. It's nice and fatty and works perfectly for this dish, but if you can't get it, then a good quality pancetta will work just as well. Now, if you fancy curing some pancetta at home, then I've got a video on that. I'll link to it in the card above and in the video description. Now, a word of caution, if you cut the guanciale or the pancetta too thin, then you'll wind up with crispy bits and you'll miss out on the contrasting soft textures that can come from the inside if you were to cut it a bit bigger. Now I'm going to pop these into a cold skillet that's been placed onto a medium to low heat, and I'm gently going to cook this while moving it round pretty much continuously. I'm shooting for an even cook with a nice golden crispy outside, while making sure that that fat's still rendering out, and that's going to leave a really pillowy, soft texture on the inside. Now my advice would be to buy the best ingredients you can afford or source, but don't get tied to one specific ingredient list. You know, if you can't get one thing, then don't stress. This dish consists of very few ingredients, but there are numerous ways to put them together. So experiment and find out what works for you. Right, the guanciale's done, and I know the pasta's about there, so I'm going to pop this guanciale in a bowl along with the oil. I need to cool this pan to finish it. It can't be hot, so I'm going to run the base of it under the cold water just to cool it down. Don't overcook your pasta if you can help it. A little firmness works really, really well in this dish. Take it out of the pasta water just before it's cooked so that it can finish cooking in the skillet with the other ingredients. Now you don't need to drain this pasta, and you want to add a couple of tablespoons of the cooking water into the pan along with the spaghetti. Now, unless you want scrambled eggs, this stage needs to be done slowly and over a low heat. Add the eggs and the cheese into the pan with the pasta and move it continuously while working the pan backwards and forwards over and off the heat. The cheese is going to melt and the egg will slowly thicken, producing a sauce that clings to the pasta. Now you can add in your guanciale along with the fat. The fat's going to infuse that flavour throughout the sauce and it creates a really nice mouthfeel. Now I don't like my sauce too tight, so this is perfect for me. And don't forget that as the sauce cools down, especially on the plate, this sauce is also going to thicken. Now you just need to finish it with some grated Parmesan and some cracked black pepper. Now this is carbonara done the way that I like it. Now let me know what you think to this one. Guys, a huge thank you for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Stay tuned.